Our students are very knowledgeable, but they're
Right.
hungry to learn more, no pun intended. Since I joined Tufts, I've been on a mission to deinstitutionalize food service. I didn't want just massive, bland food in pans that were ugly. Last year, we served just over 2 million meals. How do we figure out what we need every day, right? Well, our menus reflect what we think our students want. How do we know? You tell us. You're very vocal.
One word with which you would describe DeWick.
One word. Wonderful. Wonderful.
What is your favorite DeWick food?
I would say the landslide one on that one would have to be bacon. DeWick bacon is the best. Also enjoy DeWick oatmeal and those little Chinese Asian dipping things. What are those called? Dumplings. Those are really good.
I really enjoyed the butternut squash paste, as well as the salmon, firecracker, miso.
Yeah, I like the shrimp stuffed sole. The salmon's good. The burritos at Carmichael, when you make your own burritos, like that. I like the guacamole.
I enjoy stir-fried carbs as well.
That's a really long line.
What were your first impressions of DeWick as a freshman?
I was actually pretty overwhelmed with it because there's like so many options and so much food, and the setup of it is kind of odd in how you go through, and I really didn't understand how to like actually go through DeWick and get food, but definitely was psyched that there were so many options, especially because I'm one of the pickiest eaters ever, and I can always find something that I like, usually more than one thing actually, so it was a good impression.
I currently don't have a meal plan, but man, I do love it when people reel me in because I love going to DeWick so much. Just load up every single plate, and it's always fantastic because so many different people at different universities will complain about their dining hall food, but I always love going there because it really is absolutely fantastic.
I'm on the crew team, and every morning after practice or lift, we come to DeWick as a team.
How do you feel about Carm?
I hate Carm. I actually don't like it.
Italian night and Greek night, those are literally the best dining hall nights.
How do you feel about stir fry?
I had to wait for 45 minutes. It was good.
Yeah,
it wasn't worth the 45 minute wait.
Exactly.
But it was good.
Yeah.
So you're a DeWick fan, not a Carm fan.
I'm a DeWick fan, but I gotta say, like, Carm is really convenient, and you gotta love stir fry night. I have two loves.
DeWick has a lot more variety, and it's a lot more like healthy variety. Like the salad bar is so far superior to Carm, and just like DeWick setup is weird, but Carm setup is just very confusing. Like I've been there, I'm in my junior year, and I still don't understand like how to go through Carm. Like I have no idea what to do, and I don't like the sitting sitting area in Carm. It's very like kind of everyone thrown in one area, whereas DeWick's a little nicer, like with the long tables. We use that for crew, and it's really nice to be able to sit with everybody at one table. So.
How often do you say you're at Tower Cafe, Lucia Smith?
Oh my gosh, I think I might be here every day. I think I'm just a living fixture of the Tower Cafe at this point. Got my coffee, and it's a great way to just keep studying, and it's really convenient. It definitely caters exactly to kind of what Tufts students are about.
And where do you think that Tufts dining halls get their food from?
On the whole, I don't really know, to be honest, but I do know that, like, especially with the salad bar and like the fruit and stuff, they definitely try to go local. So what they always like put the little pamphlets up on the side, how they try to do that, and they've really pushed for that. And when we have special, like one of my friends, Audrey April, they made a delicious donut day, and they got donuts from nearby apple farms. So they definitely, like, on certain specialty things, it seems like they try to go local, but I can't imagine that you could get a lot of crisp bacon from local organic farms. So I don't know if I want to know. It's good being ignorant of it.
It'd be nice if it was local stuff, but it's hard to do and expensive.
How much of the food do you think is organic?
Not very much, obviously.
The ones in the vegetarian section, like the brown rice and edamame and like the black beans are. I'm not sure if any of the vegetables are though, like the salad bar. So that'd be nice. Or the fruit. I think it'd be nice like the apples were organic.
I think they do that like in the fall.
So I'd guess like 20%.
Yeah, might be kind of generous. Yeah.
Maine is what we call a master distributor. It's U.S. Food Service. And they supply a variety of things. Many of our frozen meats, chicken, occasionally fish, canned and frozen fruits and vegetables, cereals, breakfast cereals, spices, beans, rice mixes, crackers, sauces, some of our appetizers. It runs the gamut. They can provide produce, but we don't buy produce from them. We use a local distributor called Costa Produce. And they understand our desire to have locally sourced produce when in season, and they work very closely with some of the growers in the area to provide that for us. We buy a lot of our dairy products through Gorelick Farms, which is actually owned by Dean Foods now. I'd love to get local milk. Our bakery is Laronga, and they do produce a lot themselves, and they do source from some other suppliers, like bagels and things like that. We use a fresh meat company called Cambridge Packing. We use a fish company called Foley. Foley Fish goes out to market to source what you've ordered. And then another supplier we have is that Central Culinary Kitchen that I mentioned that's in the lower level of DeWitt. Let me talk a little bit about sustainability. We created our first strategic plan in the early 90s. About a dozen years ago, we started composting. Last year, it was about 225 tons of food that was taken out of the waste stream. So that's about 65% of our solid waste is removed from the waste stream. Some of it's being sold to some of the farms in the central part of the state where we buy some of our produce. What we are currently doing in terms of sourcing organic foods, for one thing, a lot of our local growers are not certified organic, but they're at minimum using integrated pest management, and many of them have organic growing methods. They just, it's terribly costly to go through the certification process. What we are able to source that is organic, that's consistent, organic marinara sauce, organic pasta, ingredients that are made in a way that are fairly regionally available, but they can be key ingredients for items for people who tend to eat a vegetarian or vegan diet, who are also looking for that environmental benefit. And when available, we're trying to source fair trade.
I just think organic is taking second stage to the local movement.
That's interesting.
They were both, at the beginning, they were both head to head, and then I saw the local took off like no other, and organic kind of just fizzled because they haven't been able to show that organic food is any more nutritious. Yeah. The majority of students are asking for local food or supporting local food companies, but we think it's the right thing to do. Each and every year I'm looking to add, what else can we do, to drive students to good, nutritious food.
What kind of things do you do for sustainability at Tufts?
So currently I'm working with the catering department and the rest of food services to develop a sustainability plan for catering and specifically Youth Cafe to educate people and reach out to people about the current sustainability options we have there.
What do you know about composting around Tufts?
It's definitely picked up in the past couple of years. I think it's fantastic. We, at catering, we compost all of our food waste, which is great, and that goes right back to our local farmers. A lot of the food that we buy for Tufts Catering and for Tufts Dining is made locally, so through composting, it's a great way to continue the cycle. I think people are sometimes skeptical about how much is local, how much we are actually using, what is sustainable, and it's been really interesting as a student and now as a student manager to see that Tufts really is passionate about this, that they are taking a huge initiative to really ensure that our recycling program is top-notch, that we are composting as much as possible and always working towards something